What's up, guys? Real quick before we get started, I want to go ahead and apologize because we didn't really introduce everybody this go around. We just kind of like shotgunned it and went right into it. But on today's episode, it's Cody, myself, Jan, Justin, Kirk, Seth, Nick, and James. Our handles are all going to be in the description below if you're listening on the audio side. If you're on YouTube, then you see us all in our glory and everything. So just again, I just want to apologize for that. But without further ado, let's get on with the show. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Thunderbolt Radio. And yes, there's something in my eye. It's bothering the hell out of me because eye drops are a thing and I forget to use them. So episode one was just kind of an introduction to who we are, what we do, and all that good stuff, and all the outlandish and idiotic things that we talk about in this hobby slash in the geekdom that is Gundam. So just to kind of get the ball rolling today. By the way, all our handles are going to be on the bottom right of our respective bubbles. So if you guys would like to follow us, just like, subscribe, share, whatever, it's going to be there. But to get things rolling, we're going to go ahead and just kind of catch up with everybody, like, what current works, what you're working on currently and stuff like that. And if there's any other pending orders out there that we're looking forward to. I'm going to start off with Cody.
Currently I am working on the Master Grade H2 Double Bullet. I think my next big thing I'd like to look forward to are the Witch of Mercury kits when those drop eventually.
All right. Anybody want to go next?
Well, currently I'm working on the Humbrabi Suban. That is a mobile suit from Gundam Build Fighters Amazing Ready. It's a manga that no one's heard of, but like basically it's made by the guy who did the baseball episode in Gundam Build Fighters. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but yeah. It's cool. I like it. False advertisement though, because it's not the same color the kit is than the advertisement, but oh well. Anyway, as far as something I'm excited for, I'm looking at my shipment history, and I actually have it's called the Gem Wagtail. Basically, it's like an Advance of Zeta gem thing. Like I've got what is that? Gosh, I forgot what it's called. Like the conversion kit that Bandai actually made for a magazine coming. All I got to do is buy a Gem Type C, and I can make a Wagtail. I'm excited for that.
And AOZ is always a win.
I mean, don't get ahead of yourself, but yeah, I agree with you this time.
So I'm currently working on the high grade Hygog from, oh gosh, I'm already spacing on what it is. War in the Pocket. There we go.
There you go.
And as far as things I'm excited about, I just recently got in some wire meshing, so I'm excited to drill some holes, do some backings, make stuff look good. I got some 3D printed parts in that I'm really excited about. So pretty much what I got going on.
All right. I am currently working on the foot of the 21st century real type Goof flight type. I'm not gonna try to bog down on all the stuff I have incoming, but I am looking forward to the Lindworm. And yeah, a few other things, but the Lindworm specifically. Yeah, I totally forgot the third thing that I'm supposed to mention, but
no, it's just current works and pending orders.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah, that's it then. Super short from me.
Well, I'm working on two actually. I've been working on two for the last I don't know how long. Both the high grades, Barbatus and the Grays, because Justin challenged me to build a diorama with the two of them. So still trying to figure that out. But the one pre-order that I have that I'm excited to come, out of everything else is the Metal Gear Rex.
Metal Gear.
That's one of my favorite gaming series, so I'm excited for that one.
Weapon to surpass Metal Gear.
I need to find a Rex. I think I eventually am gonna get it because not having a Metal Gear Rex and being a Metal Gear fan is like I feel like a slap in the face. Who's next? Gam?
Yep.
Let's see. Well, I'm not really working on anything right now because I just finished building the Dragon R1, but I don't know. I plan on starting probably the Mark V next. Pretty excited about that. Incoming orders. Lindworm is pretty exciting. Efreak Knock just came in. That one's very exciting as well. And that's all I can think of right now.
Bet. Honestly, like I'm looking at my incoming list and all I can think about is the Estrella Type F.
Oh yeah, a double O boy.
Hey man, them suits look good. But the current works, actually I don't think I have anything right now. I just wrapped up a few snap builds. I ran through the Efreets, the high grades that just came in because I was waiting for the knock to come in so I can do the other two. So this weekend I'll probably be working on the build that Lisa will challenge me to do, which is the Nightingale. And I got all the parts painted that I needed to get painted. So just finishing and putting it back together and hopefully fix the wiring issue that my dear cat Louie decided to bestow upon me. So now I'm an amateur electrician. That's great. Aside from that, yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, Stereotype F. It's gonna be beautiful. With that being said, we're gonna dive into the first topic. Now, you guys, whoever wants to go first, it'd be fine. But so basically, what it is going to be, we had talked about this a while ago. We talked about aces in Gundam. We're gonna limit this to the UC only because UC is large enough, and in a future episode, we'll dive into aces from alternate centuries and alternate timelines. But for now, we'll stick to UC because I'm such a nice guy. It was pick one Federation, one Xeon to kind of get folks out of some of their comfort zones. Because there are some folks here that are some sympathizers with some terrorists and stuff like that, and I want to get you out of your box. So yeah, whoever wants to start, go ahead.
All right, I've been preparing for this for quite some time actually, because I've been mulling it over. So I like to go first here. So basically, I'll even start with a Federation pilot to make you happy, Jan. So it's somebody we can all respect. Basically, his name is let me get to my notes. I actually took notes. I actually researched this topic. Okay, but it's not just gonna be like a school presentation or anything like that. But I did take notes. Basically, okay. So my Federation pilot that I enjoy is Yu Kajima. Basically, he was a second lieutenant in the 1 Year War, and he was also a colonel at the first Neo Zeon uprising with Char. Basically, he's the pilot of the Blue Destiny. That's his claim to fame. He first appeared in Mobile Suit Gundam's side story, The Blue Destiny. It was an old game, I think either on Dreamcast or Super Nintendo. No, it was Dreamcast. But okay, so basically, Yu Kajima, he was the leader of the 11th Autonomous Mechanized Composite Corps, otherwise known as the Guinea Pig Team. They basically used to battle test stuff the Federation just made before they had to mass produce it. So it's like, hey, we just made this stuff. Go fight some Zeons with it and see if it works. Report back to us and we'll analyze the whole fight. So they basically just accepted their fate of like, hey, we're doing like kind of active reconnaissance out here on mobile suits. Kind of crazy stuff. But kind of everything kind of changed for this guy when he got the Blue Destiny. Basically, at first it actually appeared and he had to fight it. It made its way back to a Federation lab, and well, the girl who was inside it died, and they put you into the cockpit there. Basically, they're like, "Hey man, test this Blue Destiny. They're working on something called Exam." So that's what he was in charge of for a while. But I don't know if like how much of this to like go into here, but like I'm kind of excited for this guy, like one of my favorite Federation pilots. But basically his rival is this guy named Nimbus Sturtzen, which is very German. Anyway, so he pilots the Ifrit Custom and the Blue Destiny Unit 2 after he stole it. So basically, these guys, they both have the exam system in their suits, the Ifrit and the Blue Destiny 1. So they mutually took out each other's suits, and Nimbus and his boys ran away basically after they confirmed the Blue Destiny 1 was dead. So they didn't know that the scientist, this dude named Clust Moses, who defected from Xeon, actually built two more units, the Blue Destiny Unit 2 and 3. So that's where Yu Kajima gets to pilot the 3 after Nimbus steals Blue Destiny Unit 2 and kills the guy who made it, so he can't make any more exam suits. So like I'm just telling a bit about like his legend here. So like basically Yu Kajima actually like flies into space pursuing these guys, and him and Nimbus have like a final showdown at like side 5. Basically the Blue Destiny 2 and 3 take each other out, but this time Nimbus didn't get away, he died. Blue Destiny Unit 2 explodes, and Blue Destiny Unit 3 drifts into space, and he had to get picked up by his team. But here's the thing, like since we're talking about specific pilots, I just want to tell a bit about what he's done. And I think you guys remember, like I told you that he's one of the Jagan pilots that actually tried to help push back Axis after Shard dropped it. So like this guy, he's been in the game for a while. Like he's got longevity. Like they even said that during the Grips War he was still with the Earth Federation, like around Zeta times. And then he joined he got tired of that and joined Londo Bell for Shard's counterattack. But let's see, any other like interesting things? Like I hope I'm not like going too long here, but I like this guy. I'm excited.
No,
So,
man. Honestly, no. That's kind of like it. If you want to geek out, go for it. If I mean, come on, dude. We're doing a podcast for like this stuff. Like, come on, like.
okay, just just make sure doing it right. But okay, so I think it's cool. He's got like aliases. Well, he's got one. But after he got into the Blue Destiny and basically like raised hell for Xeon there, they started calling him the Blue Death, because the Blue Destiny shows up and goes exam, you have a bad time. Because I mean, one of his claims to fame here is that exam system has the trapped soul of a new type girl in there named Marion Welch. Basically, she was a Xeon scientist that was helping the professor develop the exam system, but her during some kind of experiment they were doing, her mental imprint got trapped in the suit. Like her body died and her mind basically got trapped in the suit. So people have died piloting the Blue Destiny Unit 1 and the Blue Destiny Unit 0 from her attempts to actually reach out to the pilot. Unfortunately, usually somebody forcing their way into your head has made people go berserk, and then they die, because when the Blue Destiny starts wigging out and doing maneuvers at high speed, not every human body can take that type of thing. So that's where Yu Kajima comes in. He's real cool. He can take it. Also, he could communicate with her. Basically, his lust for power and her ability to grant that power basically like had them in tune. So she basically asked him to go and kill the guy who was piloting the Blue Destiny Unit 2, and also take out the Ifrit Custom, the Ifrit Custom, sorry, and the Blue Destiny Unit 2, so that her soul could be at peace. So he kind of had a personal mission at stake for that. Basically, like the girl who was granting him this power, he would grant her final wish, like beyond death. So I'm like, this is a cool guy. Also, like just as far as things he's piloted, as far as just like cool shit that everybody knows, Blue Destiny Unit 1, Unit 3, Gem Code Districts, Gem Command, Command Space Type, Jagan, the Ground Gem, and I think the one that people really like is the Gem Dominance. The regular colors Gem Dominance, that's him. And then like most recently, they had him in the Gundam Ground Urban Combat type in the Gundam Breaker Battlelog like net series on YouTube. That was him. So like this dude gets around. He was the only protagonist character they brought back for that. Everybody else was like a side character or an antagonist. So like I guess in closing on him, reasons why I really like him is his skill, his basically his lust for battle and power. Because he lost a fight to a Zaku while he was piloting a saberfish, which is like a Federation like space jet, and then he was never comfortable basically with that sort of power ever again. He always wanted to keep improving, always wanted the top of the line machines, and he didn't care what he had to do to get it. But underneath that, he's a like a dutiful soldier who just wanted to end this war. But his longevity in the battles, like he served from the 1 Year War to the Neo Zeon Uprising, as far as we know. So, like, just this dude is skilled. He's ruthless in battle. He's a competent leader, and one of my favorite Federation soldiers. So I had to tell you about him. Also, random trivia here. In the games that you can actually see pilot stats, he's actually canonically a better pilot than Shiro Amada from 8th Mobile Suit Team. Even though I kind of feel like that's a kind of like, okay, that's a meh.
Yeah.
I mean, Shiro is just kind of he's okay.
I mean, yeah, he's so okay. He took out a high mobility test prototype Zaku with a ball. But
I mean, that's good.
Well, yeah, but then let's look at the final fight. I'm gonna live and slam stuff and then rips arm off.
We'll get back to that. We'll
Right.
come back.
Yeah. I'm not trying to besmirch the boy's name. It was just one person was more famous than the other, so I had to compare.
No, I like Shiro, but I'll give him crap all the time.
But yeah, should I like go right into my Xeon, or like does anybody else want to say theirs? So
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so for my Xeon pick, it's gonna be a guy like probably nobody's ever heard of. His name is Lieutenant Commander Wolfgang. Basically, the manga that he appeared in, because that's all he's ever been in, was called The Hunter of Black Clothes. He also makes an appearance in the later manga called Mobile Suit Gundam Aggressors, which stars the pilot of the Red Rider, a guy named Chase Skullguard. But anyway, so Wolfgang. I'm going to start with like reasons why I like him first, since somebody really knows him. Basically, he's got pride as a Xeon commander. The thing about it is, it's not like sometimes they try to show you like there's good guys on the Xeon squad too. He can be like ruthless and stuff, but he's got like an air of nobility. I know Xeon had a good bit of that sometimes, but where he gains points for me is he had a critical take on the Zabi family, to the point where they actually pushed him into the Earth's outer orbit fleet to basically just hunt gems that got too close to their atmospheric basis. So basically they kind of exiled him, for like lack of better words. Just like, hey, they sent him to like fucking no man's land and then just made him work for it. But he actually thrived there. Because he's the type of guy, he's got like honor and skill and chivalry. Those are things that are important to him. Also tactics and leadership. But he's got humility too, because he never goes over the line as far as like how he does battle. If there's someone who can't fight back, or if it's a battle that's already won, that's where he stops. Like he'll never go over the line to where it's like it becomes, there's war and then there's murder. He has a hard time crossing that line. So this is the type of guy that reads stories about medieval times, because he said the men there still had pride and honor, unlike the corrupt Zabis. And another line that really struck me from what he said was that basically his fiance asked him to come back to side 3 after he got injured, and he told her he couldn't, because they had to fight and end this stupid war. He said, as many soldiers can die as necessary, but a civilian like you and the other people that are innocent shouldn't have to worry about what the Zabi family wants in this stupid war. I'm like, okay, I like this guy. So I just want to talk a little bit about like what he's piloted. So basically, not a very long list here. There's MS-06F Zaku 2 and the what is it? The EMS-10 Zuda. That's all he's piloted. But he actually made a name for himself as they called him the Hunter in Black or the Hunter of Black Clothes because, well, he was good at his job at hunting people in the Earth Federation that got too close to the Xeon atmospheric basis. So basically, he would do this thing to where he would get close to like almost atmospheric reentry and then boost and bounce off the atmosphere using like gravitic tension and atmospheric pressure mixed with like the way he was boosting to basically skip and throw his mobile suit across the atmosphere like he would skip a rock across a lake. It would make his dodges and his movement extremely erratic and hard to take. So like you can't really get a bead on him because like when he bounces against the atmosphere, it's like you don't know where he's going. Like random sudden speed boost. And that was before he got the Zuda. And here's another mark of his character that made me really like him. He had a rival by the name of Brandon Lowe in the Federation, who is not a good mark. That guy could have joined the Titans. He was a jerk. There was a scene where basically, Brandon he gets out there and he thinks that the Hunter of Black Clothes is only good at ambushing people out in space because he has a black mobile suit and they're out in space. He thinks all he can do is hide in debris. So he proved him wrong by attacking a squad of 4 gems and taking them on and winning. So Brandon actually hid behind a civilian ship and Wolfgang didn't fire. That basically the civilian ship was requesting just to be able to travel through the battlefield and not get shot, which he obliged. Brandon hid behind them because he knew he was going to lose the fight. And then once Wolfgang, put down his gun and wasn't going to shoot, Brandon shot him. When Wolfgang took a shot and tensed up, he accidentally opened fire. His gun sprayed and actually blew up the civilian ship, and he was caught in blast. So something that kind of struck another personal chord with me was like a tale of revenge here, because once Wolfgang woke up, he was missing his right eye and his right hand, and there was basically Federation war radio. Brandon Lowe was decorated soldier for taking out the Xeon Scourge, the Hunter of Black Clothes, out in space, and he told them that he had to stop him once that cowardly Zeke used a civilian ship as a shield. So he like completely turned the story on its head. And from that point on, Wolfgang told his fiance to forget about him because he knew he'd have to die on the battlefield to regain his honor. He told her he couldn't get married because as long as there was a stain on his name as a soldier, that he wouldn't be able to retire, even with these injuries. So when he went out to go get his revenge, like I'm coming to the close of the story here, but it's just like, this is something that as far as Xeon goes, because I like their mobile suits, but I don't really vibe with the whole space Nazi kind of look. So yeah, that's why I let Jan give me shit for that. Anyway, so basically he led the Hunter unit, his own personal unit, where he commanded a Musai class ship, basically to go and do his job of helping soldiers escaping from Solomon back to Xeon quarters as they reestablished their forces after they lost that battle. So he encountered Brandon out there and he did some underhanded stuff again. This time he got to pilot a gem type C. So Wolfgang and Brandon, let's see, they got to the point where both their ships fired on each other and they're both dead in the water. And Brandon was doing some underhanded stuff again, where basically they tried to dress up as Xeon soldiers and go and bomb Grenada with nuclear bombs so that Xeon would be in such a dire strait that they would have to sue the Federation for breaking the Antarctic Treaty with nuclear weapons, but it would end the war. They would sue them and there would be peace. That was the plan. That was constructed by a guy named Simon Hughes. He was a Federation intelligence officer. It didn't work like that. Wolfgang discovered that they were in disguise because it was too fishy. He ended up having to fight Brandon. And of course, Brandon points his gun at the bridge of Wolfgang's ship where his fiance is, because she was an operator on his ship. So forcing Wolfgang to throw down his gun as like in the Zuda. So he charged him with a beam saber because he told him he was stupid for using up all his weapons. Unknowingly, the Zuda has a shield with two big spikes on the inside of it. And he's like, you know what? For a corrupted man with a fallen, what do you say, like a fallen stain on his honor, they gave me a corrupted mobile suit with a bad name. He's like, it's perfect for a guy like me. He's like, the Zuda was lost to the throes of history, and so was my good name. He's like, you should have learned more about me and this suit. So, like, when he unveiled the spikes on the shield, he impaled the guy on it because he didn't know what the Zuda could do because it was a failed mobile suit that didn't get mass production. And that's how he won. Unfortunately, the ship that they had stolen to bomb Grenada in an infiltration mission was dead in the water and entering Earth's atmosphere. Unfortunately, it was going to fall on the town in Ireland where the Federation intelligence officer who actually constructed the mission, his family lived there. So he asked Wolfgang to somehow take out the ship. He didn't care if he would die. Unfortunately, um, Wolfgang had used up all his weapons in the fight. So the only weapon he had left was the Zuda's Saturn engine, which explodes if it goes too fast. So he forcefully made the Zuda go too fast and then asked his girlfriend to marry him mid-flight and made the Federation pilot be the witness. And basically, once she got to the part where she said, I do, he clocked the Zuda into overdrive and then ran into the ship. He saved everybody in that town, but he died. And I was like, that noble sacrifice like struck a chord. And that's why I like Wolfgang, well, Lieutenant Commander Wolfgang of the Principality of Zeon. 6 Zeon, that's it. That's all for me.
Feels quite passionate about these things, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, I guess I'll go next. For my Fetty pilot, kind of an unknown. He was he goes by the name of Death Stallion from F90. He was a lieutenant when he was throughout the course of the F90 manga, where he was piloting the suit. He's not a Federation pilot. He actually was contracted through SNRI. And throughout the early parts of the series, he actually complains about, the military and really just has this kind of anti-military personality, which is why he's like, I'd rather be a mobile suit test pilot. But he isn't the only F90 pilot. It's him and another guy by the name of Sid. They actually pilot both Unit 1 and Unit 2. And what winds up happening is Sid, his unit is actually faster than Def's, and it winds up getting cornered in a asteroid field or meteor field, something like that, by Oldsmobile, which are the Mars remnants of Xeon. They're piloting outdated suits, and everyone's like, "Oh, they're piloting old suits. Those are garbage." I'm gonna reference back to Unicorn with Torrington, all the shenanigans that old suits did. But they wound up damaging the Unit 2 F90, and Sid actually had to bail out, and they wound up taking Unit 2, the Oldsmobile Xeon did. So the ship that they were on, which was the Tiananmen, which was a refitted ship, and it was a 13th fleet. It wasn't really an actual fleet, but then it got activated into actual combat. It and a bunch of other ships went to Mars. And what wound up happening is throughout the time, the travel time between Earth to Mars, they upgraded the F90, gave it the full AI system that it uses, which apparently the computer is based off of Amara. And that ties into Lieutenant Bosch, who was Def's mentor. He'd apparently served with Amaro at Char's Rebellion and actually helped try to push back Axis. Eventually, they wind up at Mars as the F90 is doing some testing in Mars. The crew is actually hijacked by a bunch of Xeon or Oldsmobiles agents that were actually embedded in the Federation, including Bosch. And after the landing craft with the F90, which has Def, Sid, who's piloting a new Gyrodoga, and Navi, who is piloting a Intel gathering style suit, They crash, but they survive. The F-90 is still intact. Navi's captured. So Sid and Def deck out the F-90, go to the Mars hiding spot, and wind up getting into a fight. Turns out Bosch is piloting the F-90 that's been taken by the Xeon forces, and winds up fighting in a battle similar to that of when Amuro and Char fought each other, because Unit 2 turned out had a program that was based off the mind pattern waves and kind of like an AI as well, based off Char. So Unit 2 was like Char, it could move faster. Unit 1 was like Amuro. But that was really it. The F-90 got wrecked, and Unit 2 was salvaged and turned into the F-90 Roman numeral 2. And then there was apparently a third unit that was in develop that got turned into the cluster. Currently, there is a new F-90 fastest mobile suit or whatever manga that just started 3 years ago, and it's still ongoing. Def is shown in it briefly, but then the F-90 goes to a new pilot. The Xeon pilot that I've got is Shin Matsunaga, who goes by Gray Wolf or White Wolf of Solomon, and he's actually an old type pilot. And his family, he was the only one to be a Xeon sympathizer. The rest of them were like, nah, we're staying out of this. We don't approve of this. But there's 3 different stories that revolve around him. One being MSV. So he was recalled to Side 3 prior to the Battle of Solomon. And that's really about it. I mean, he was considered a great pilot, but he was nowhere near the Battle of Solomon. He was actually called back to Side 3, and that's kind of where his story ended in MSV. In another story, he was involved in Operation British, where he took out 1 battleship and 3 cruisers. He was also decidedly ranked the 5th top-ranking ace pilot in all of Xeon. And during the Battle of Solomon, I believe, is where he got 141 mobile suit kills and 6 warship kills. However, he did go missing during the Battle of Solomon. And then in Gundam Evolve, there's a pilot codenamed Grey Wolf who looks just like Shin, but he pilots a yellow Zeta Gundam. However, what's really funny is throughout that story, he actually complains about the Gundam not being gray, but it's yellow because it's got the same coating as the Hayaku Shiki. But it does have his same White Wolf emblem on the shield. And I just like Shin because he's got an impressive kill record and just he's a cool pilot. So that's it for me.
So I think I'll pick it up next. Pardon me on that. My Federation pilot is Kenneth A. Jong. He's an old type pilot, but he was rumored to have been a new type pilot for his abilities on the battlefield. He held the rank of lieutenant commander. He was a sniper, specializing obviously in long range tactics. Notable mobile suits for him. He had a GEM Sniper Custom, and a GEM Command Space Type. He first appeared in Mobile Suit Variations, and he's got 149 mobile suits shot down and 3 ships shot down. I couldn't really find a lot on him, but I do like snipers. And he goes along with my Xeon pick, who is basically his rival, which is Burnus Ox. Also from MSV, he's an old type pilot with the rank of Lieutenant Colonel, sniper as well. Notable mobile suits for him were the Rikdom, the Zaku 2. He had a Zaku 2 high mobility test type and a Gelgoot cannon, which is always awesome to see. He had 193 mobile suits shot down and 8 ships. Now, I was able to find a little bit more information on him, and this is part of the reason I like him so much. He was my original pick. He did have an alias of One Shot Killer. He was against the deployment of inadequately trained pilots, so anytime he would deploy, if he didn't feel like any of his wingmen weren't good enough, he refused to let them deploy. that just shows great character with him. When he was with trained but still less experienced wingmen, he would often hang back and let them take the kills to not just boost their skills, but to boost their confidence and whatnot. Very, very cool dude on his part. He ended up being taken off of active duty and sent to the pilot training academy. And a weird thing, most ace pilots for Xeon really carried their own colors, but he didn't. And that's pretty much all I got for it.
I suppose I'll go. So I guess the way that makes most sense is I'll just tell who both of them are, because my two are E.O. Fleming and Daryl Lawrence, both from Thunderbolt, because they're both badasses.
Yeah,
So was that?
No, I was like, because you were saying they're both badasses. I'm like, that's it, right?
I mean, to be fair, that's what it really comes down to. For me, I'm not going to go into their military service records and everything like that, because it's too much work-related things for me. So, I love EO's attitude of, all right, I'm here to get a job done, and he enjoys doing it, and he looks like an asshole a lot when he does things, and he has that sort of reputation, but like, if you pay attention to him, he cares about those people he fights with. I mean, yeah, all those kids in the balls went out and got completely demolished there when Thunderbolt sector went down, but like in the end there was a mission to do, and it did affect him, but he still had to do the mission, and then like he still carried all of them with him, and that was one of the reasons why I think, and this is in the manga but not in the movies, why he played some politics back home at Side 4 and got himself just ensured that he was the pilot of Atlas instead of someone else. I think that's evidence that he's not just some guy that likes war, even if he does feel most comfortable there. There's things that he carried with him, on top of his ex-girlfriend slash super crazy lady, at least where I am at right now in the manga. And then Daryl is, he's just solid, wants to keep serving for Xeon. That's pretty much all he knows, but he seems to be growing, in what I'm seeing now. Like, I can appreciate his skill. I can appreciate the fact that he has a heart, even though it's taking some pretty traumatic experiences for him to discover that, really. And I don't know. I guess in a way they're kind of like the same pilot, because they both have a lot of like real talk. They would be best friends if they were on the same side, hands down. So I guess maybe it's a cop out. I like the same pilot with a different name on both sides. But they're both really cool. I respect their skills. I know that eventually, I guess EO becomes like a new type through osmosis or something. Haven't gotten there in the manga yet, but I mean, it's been out for a minute, so it's hard not to know that. So I don't know. I appreciate the fact that he's that badass of a pilot at first, and he's not a new type. Yeah. Also, he's got some of the coolest Gundam designs. And then also the Zaku, Psycho Zaku. It's a beefy beast, and I like it. That's my whole thing.
All right, I guess I'll go, because I will not accept the slander of Shiro Amada.
I wasn't slandering. I was merely saying he
Oh,
was
oh.
okay.
No, don't get me wrong. Does he have issues? Yes. But as a pilot, he's actually pretty good. Like, so I feel like, yeah, you have the whole scene where you kind of get introduced to him. He uses a ball and basically single-handedly in a ball. But I feel like the rest of the anime, like he has some decent scenes and he does well, but there's some issues along the way. But I think it's technically like a short, like a little thing that they did where he was in the Easy Eight against the Goof Flight type, and just seeing how they animated it and how he actually strategically fought against them, and used what he had, and it's essentially the way he fights in that it's more or less like use whatever you have to defeat your enemy, and he really does. He uses just about everything in that fight on that Gundam just to win. But so besides Shiro, because I'll keep it short and I'll keep it sweet for both of them. My other pick, I'm a basic bitch. I go with Ramba Rao.
Nothing wrong with that. Romba's the
Because
man.
I will say he's one of the characters on both sides that I can actually, if you pay attention, you even in the games, because he was a character in the games too. If you pay attention to him, he's one of the more respectable soldiers, commanders out of a lot of them on both sides. And I like that about him, because he cared about his men. When he would take orders, he would question a lot of it, because but like the final one where they're fighting kids, even he's like, no, I don't feel good about that. But he was more or less like more honorable than a lot of the other ones, a lot of other fighters and all this other stuff. And I will say the way he goes out is probably one of the most badass ways to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Salute and a grenade.
Well, and
Boom.
going back to just how much of like he's got his own morals. He even refused to, in Origin, refused to even help out with taking the colony. He's like, nope, I'm out.
Yep.
I refuse to even participate in this. You are crossing a line.
Yeah, that's why that's why I like him. He was just it was honor and everything. Oh, and then the other reason I like him, if you watch the Build Diver stuff, he's basically like he's like Daddy Raw.
Right.
Yeah, everything.
Well, the way he simps over Sei's mom, it's just like, bro,
Right.
that is a married woman.
Those are my picks.
Also, he does have two of the coolest like build variants in the build fighters, the Dom and the
Goof.
The Goof R35 or whatever it is. Those things are some of the best looking Xeon mobile suits ever.
The amazing Red Warrior. When he sees that, and that was funny.
Well, I guess start with in this case. So for my Fetty pilot, I chose Yazan Gable. He's typically around like he appears first in Zeta Gundam. He appears in other things afterwards. His transition of character from Zeta to Double Zeta is it's a very sharp contrast, but the reason I chose him is because while he's a bad person. He's evil. He likes to kill people, but like he's just ruthless and like dedicated to like whatever he like, you know, puts himself towards that. If he's like if he's following Paptimus, he's doing it to like the full of his ability. He's just more than willing to like just his skill is like it's hard to rival, man. Like honestly. So while he is like he kills a bunch of characters of the AU, like I mean, I can't help but respect him for just like his talent, but seeing him with a chicken wing in his mouth every time he's in double zeta is just I don't understand it. But he also has some really cool suits, honestly. 'Cause, I mean, he's got what he piloted the Hambravi, he had a called Baldy. I think he was in the Gab play for a minute. Gablon. He has a Mark II at one point, and the color scheme like looks just like a Hambravi. I mean, he gets around. I mean, he's dedicated to the cause. So while I don't like him, I respect him. Um, in terms of Xeon, I guess if I were to choose someone there that hasn't been mentioned, I would probably say Johnny Ridden. Just he's a really cool character, and like he gains a lot of notoriety, and he doesn't even want to like be that guy, but he becomes that guy just through sheer talent, I guess, and dumb luck. But he's just I enjoy the character, seeing everything he does. He's got a really nice Gelgoog. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know what else to say because I think Crimson Lightning and the Red Comet, like, it goes hand in hand. But Johnny's just like, like the Diet Coke Char, kind of.
Bruh, don't let him hear you say that.
Well, I know.
Apologize.
Well, then you hear just Char going, but I don't betray anyone.
Oh my god.
What?
Char's a nice guy. He's never stabbed anyone in the back. Literally.
Those are solid pick scam for sure. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually pretty surprised that it's this late in the game that Johnny Ridden got mentioned.
So that
Well,
is,
someone
I'm sorry, I was
has
gonna
to
say it's my favorite Xeon pilot, but like I wanted to put the spotlight on somebody else, just to be different.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna go as like what for mine. It's gonna be short and sweet because I couldn't really find too much on my Fetty pick. But his name is Robin Diaz. If you've seen Unicorn, you know exactly who you won't know who it is until I point him out for you. But he's a lieutenant in the EFSF, rank of lieutenant. He's a mechanic and a mobile suit pilot. He's piloted the Marasai, a fan, which is kind of like an aircraft that has like missile pods on the top of it. The Byrlant and the Byrlant Custom. He used to be an ex-Titans pilot. He was assigned to Torrington Base as a mechanic. Now my man got the pilot of Byrlant Custom in UC 0096.
Oh, that guy.
And
Too much piloting it.
when Xeon remnants were all like, "Bro, we're gonna attack Torrington Base for the 40th time this year," they fucked up because they had no idea my man Robin over here was gonna make him pay. Because I'm pretty sure the dude never got shot down. He took like 4 or 5 of them with him before he flew away. Which, assuming he flew away to come back and take some more souls. But dude was, while gyms were getting owned left and right, dude was snatching bodies, man. The dude was like the John Wick of Gundam, like just right there. Just you die. Oh, that's a cute Z Zulu. You're dead too. All right. So yeah, I didn't want to have a typical pick for EFSF, especially me being a Fetty fan. I was like, let me find someone and the Byrlant Custom scene is by far one of the coolest scenes. And Unicorn has a bunch of cool scenes, but that was pretty sick. My Xeon pilot is the man himself, Norris Packard. The man needs no introduction.
Damn right.
I will argue that he's a better pilot than Ron Baral, but we can, I'm gonna drop that hot take right there. He's piloted a couple different things actually. Gunship Heli, MSO6 JC Zaku 2, MSO5Q Zaku 1, which I think you actually see him pilot a Zaku 1 in an Oath MS team in for a brief stint. In that one-off short, you see him pilot a goof flight type. He pilots a DOP, Lagoon, and obviously the suit that he's known for the most, the Goof Custom. My thing about Norris is that he doesn't seem like your typical Xeon. Like he's not like fanatic or fanatical in any way. He's just kind of like how Justin was saying earlier. He's just like a good soldier. He's there for his troops. He's there for the other pilots. He's just and he cares. He's like a father figure for Aina. So there are layers to him as a character, and arguably one of the best. Like, look, I love Fetty suits, but the Goof Custom took the cake as the one mono eye that I will just that bad boy is on a pedestal because first of all, when he shows up at the top of the building scanning, and he's just, that thing looks menacing. Bad boy stabs the freaking gun tank and twists that shit. Yeah, enough said. And he's analyzing the battle as he's going, compensating for if the line is gonna be taught here, that he'll stop here just short of whatever gunfire under. The guy was compensating for every weapon system on the battlefield that day, even though he lost. I honestly think that had the circumstances of the battle not been the same, had it been just a regular battle with him not having to bleed time for the Musai to take off, Oath MS team would be a memorial somewhere, straight up.
Yeah,
I can't disagree with that.
I would agree.
This dude was picking them apart, and Terry Sanders would have lived up to his name as the Grim Reaper because he would probably survived, and everybody else would be dead. But no, yeah, and I do have one honorable mention, just because the dude has no name, you have no idea who it is, but the dude was boss nonetheless. The unnamed Jagan pilot from episode 1 of Unicorn, my man took it to Merida. Even though it was just a short man, had Merida not had the bits, not had her funnels, just saying, man, that fight would have been a little longer. My man took it to her. But yeah, that sums up kind of my picks. Yeah, man, it's really, and some of the things that I put in note for Norris Packard, it's I think it's in some of the mangas, it says that he had initial failures as a Zaku pilot and as a DOT pilot. Every mission that he had gone to in those two were failure. And obviously us, the fans that love Oath MS team, he has a cult notoriety because he's this Xeon pilot. It's just a dude's badass, right? That's kind of one that what drew me to him. Dude, yeah, I love Fetties, but Norris, dude, is the boss, and I respect that motherfucker. My bad. I respect the guy a lot. So, I think anybody have any other thoughts that they kind of popped in while we were on this, or before we move on to the next one?
Man, not really. For me, just yep, all these guys are badasses, and I enjoy it.
Dims the facts. So topic number 2. This one it could get a little spicy just because we all have very, very, very strong opinions about mobile suits. And I am gonna limit us to just one suit just because I needs to be that one pick, right? So
Justin preparing with the deep sigh.
I'm not even gonna, and so I don't even want to put a battle that you're preparing for. It's just in general, if you were a pilot and you were going to pick out a suit, I'd say one-off suits notwithstanding, like if there's only one model of this thing, like try to kind of like not pick it. Limited runs are fine. Like one, two, or three units of it is fine, and you'll understand why I say that in a bit. But if you were a pilot in Xeon, EFSF, Neo Xeon, whatever in the UC timeline, and you were going to sortie, which suit would you pick and why? First one, whoever wants to go.
I'll take it because mine is super, super easy. I would honestly want to take out a high mobility type Zaku. Those things could be outfitted with whatever kind of weaponry, whatever kind of boosters, thrusters, anything you needed for the mission. So I could literally go out in it, do what I need to do, come back, re-outfit, and launch with a completely different setup if I needed to.
That's
I
fair.
like that reason. That's a good reason.
I'd probably have to kind of go off of that with going and equipping and coming back with whatever you need. I'm gonna have to say the F90. I mean, there's several units of it. I mean, except the U-Pack. We're not talking about the crotch rocket.
That's not.
We don't talk about it.
That's a whole booster.
We don't talk about it though. It's like we don't talk about Bruno. We're not talking about that thing. It's atrocious. But I mean, it's got an AI that is able to adapt the suit for the combat situation. It's like, this is what you should probably rock. And just seeing images of it in the manga, you can mix and match the mission packs with it. So I think that's why I would want to sortie in it. It's a versatile mobile suit. And I was actually kind of bummed that SNRI and the feds decided not to go with that plan. They just went for the single suit of F91. Because if you had like those mass produced, like the Victory Gundam, oh dear God.
Even like you mentioned Victory Gundam, I'm over here like the kit was terrible.
Oh yeah, the kit's terrible. The kit's terrible.
But anybody want to go next?
I'm really trying to think about mine. Well, you know
Yeah.
what?
Do a curveball with not wanting one-offs because I had mine queued up and then.
Well, the reason why I say not one-offs, and it's not. I'm not trying to trip anybody up, but being realistic, you have a handful of pilots in across, the spectrum that got to touch these like singular suits, and we're talking about like, even if you're an exceptional pilot, but you're still normal-ish. It's like, oh no, yeah, I want to do the Pale Rider, where it's like, well, that's a specific unit. You know what I mean?
There's quite a few of
I
them.
knew it.
You took Justin's baby, right?
Yep.
No, I'm not. No, that's not my pick. No, I was just using an example. Okay, like someone picks the Toadstrooter. That's literally one suit, right?
Oh no, yeah, I wouldn't do that.
So, but I mean, you know what? I'll give you the Pale Rider because there's like four variants of it, so I can give you that. But I won't give you the Toadstrooter.
That's a cheap knockoff anyway.
Ooh,
Kind of.
Ooh.
And Justin said he don't want them damn Xeon parts on his Pale Rider.
Damn space Nazis.
Whatever. I was just throwing that in there, but yeah, I know whoever wants to go.
Yeah, I mean, since I already essentially like said it, yeah, Pale Rider, because you've got the Hades, you've got your ground type, you got your cavalry. Like, yeah, they're kind of different suits, but at least the ground and space type, that's just a part swap. Maybe some of the parts take a little bit longer than others, the shoulder verniers and whatnot. But yeah, it's a badass suit. As long as you sparingly use its trump card, so that you don't die because there's still bad guys left.
Well, and isn't the Pale Rider just a beefed up Quell also?
I thought
Except that Pale Rider is a Gundam.
Oh, okay.
I thought
it was a
was
beefed
like
up Quell.
almost like a final version of the Blue Destiny.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty much it. The Hades system was based off the exam system. What they learned with the exam system they put into the Hades. So now
Okay.
it doesn't go berserk, but they have to surgically alter the pilot and administer drugs to keep up with the suit. So they still got their kind of high risk, high reward, but in a different way. But
Okay.
also it's based off of the Gundam Unit 4 and 5 too. That's where that big ass Gatling gun comes from the Unit 5.
The RX 78 Geo 4 and 5.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I was not sure. I thought it was a Quell. No, that's the AOZ suits that are all Quells.
I've been sitting here thinking of mine because I hadn't said one yet, but I'm thinking about like what I would have been able to fight for and what I probably would have been able to pilot with what I think I'd be skilled enough with. So probably a Nemo. Like I know it's like a grunty grunt suit, but just probably rank and file type regular suit for a group of people that I agreed with, the AUG, the Anti-Earth Union group. But yeah, like I think I'd do okay in a Nemo, just being some guy out there who's somehow surviving in one.
One of the lone Nemo survivors.
But I'm kind of tripping because they didn't tell you what the hell that suit was until like episode 17. I was literally texting someone like, "What is this suit?" And then they answered me that episode.
The Nemo is just a gym with mutton chops, man.
I mean, yeah, but it was either that or the gym too. Because I'm being realistic. Like as far as like how long I think I could have survived and where I would have wanted to personally join the fight, probably been around that time. And that's probably what I would have been put in, either an AU Gym 2 or an AU Nemo, and I'm good with that.
Gam had something chalked up like he was getting ready to say something earlier.
Well, so I guess in the terms of like limited suits, like where would say like, where would the Phantom come into play? Since I know there's like Ghost, and it's also based off of like what the Crossbone X1, I think. I forget which one it is.
You got me on that one. It's like I don't know too much about late
So
UC.
there's really only one of the Phantom and one of the Ghost. So like they're kind of limited, but there's multiple like Crossbone type suits. Because like the reason I say that is because there's only two suits that can use the Phantom light, and that's the Phantom and the Ghost. So that's like Unit 4 and 5 kind of situation. So I don't know.
I mean, while I think that'd be the fun pick, like I also like, I don't know, like I find myself at a tie between like I think being in a Gyaradoga would just be a very fun experience because it's just bigger and heavier. It's got the armaments and the mobility, but it's I would say it's like kind of like a middle of the road type of deal. Like it's not quite top of the line, but it's also not just your basic Zaku too. But on the flip side, like being able to sortie and say something like the Jesta, like a high-powered offensive unit that's got just armaments upon armaments upon armaments, like that would be pretty fun. Whether or not I could handle it and have the skill is a whole nother story, but a man can dream.
Just don't crack your teeth.
Oh yeah,
I mean, fuck it.
Honestly, that's a solid hit on us because
I
like
actually surprised somebody like took that long to say it, Jester.
I mean, it's cool. It's really cool.
I might surprise you in my pick, but I think Kirk, have you gone yet?
Not yet.
Go for it.
Because originally, kind of what Justin said until you said the one off, and then you also said whatever. At first, I was gonna be like, oh, something from a 00 with the GN drives. Those work well, but go off of like some of the other like UC stuff, whatever. Gam said it, but one of the ones that I would choose is the Jesta. But it like just because of how the suit's built and what you can do with it, like it's basically like it's tactical, like you can do whatever with it. Like it essentially you need almost like it'd be special forces almost. be using it.
Because the Jesta is specifically like a special operations.
Yeah,
I don't want to say a trim because it's not a variant. It's literally purpose built for special operations, for ECOWAS and their type of missions. I mean,
Right.
it's a beefed up Jagan.
right. See, and that was also my other choice until he said it, and I was like, the other choice that I would pick is the Jagan. Brought it up earlier. That one guy, he fought the Kashai. I mean,
No, like
Jagan.
because that's like so in like from my pick, honestly, like realistic, like legitimately realistic pick. I mean, as much as so like I love the Mark II, I love the backpack, I love its mobility, and the Jagan to me seems like that just that perfect space grunt, right? Like it has the mobility, just all that stuff, right?
It's not super bulky.
Exactly. The Jest is great, but I mean, realistically, it's a special operations suit. You have to be in ECOWAS for it. So I mean,
ECOWAS is a part of Lundo Bell.
yeah, but ECOWAS is like, well, ECOWAS and London Bell are separate.
Okay, because I was gonna say I thought it was Lundo Bell because they were launching off the Rock Highland.
Londo Bell has a few,
Okay.
but they were built. If I can't be mistaken, but I'm almost certain they were specifically built for ECOWAS.
Okay.
Because ECOWAS is special operations. Londo Bell is just a not technically special operations. They're kind of like an intervention force. Think of them like the preventers from Gundam Wing. You know, they just go around like and they check shit versus actively engaging in clandestine operations, which is what ECOWAS does.
Gotcha.
But what about the Shazar team? Are they ECOWAS?
Last I checked, I think they were because they're because like ECOWAS. So like the Shazar team is the one that's in narrative, right?
Yes.
So because ECOWAS, see, this is one of those weird things where like I really wish the connection between the narrative movie and Unicorn was better because technically there were 3 ECOWAS teams deployed during that time frame. The 2 during Palau, and then the 1 that was chasing the Fennecs. If I remember right. But yeah, they were all either Jagan ECOWAS types or Justice.
Yeah, the entire Shazar team were they all had custom Jestas.
Yeah.
So one of them had the cannon, one of them had the standard like commander type, one of them they all had customized Jestas to them, but I think it was only 3 or 4 members of the Shazar team.
Because like I initially was gonna say like something like Delta Plus, but even though Delta Plus is a limited production, it's still kind of like an ace suit. I mean, and to be perfectly honest, like I think the oh my god, the Rizel Type C, it's just kind of almost just as good, you know. So like, which is kind of interesting because everybody kind of picked like Jesta, Jagan, Nemo, you know, kind of like these, you know, the gym, dude. The gym's great. The high, dude. Okay, so I'll give you this though on the high mobility. Like, I was really happy that you said that because I'm looking at building my Psycho Zaku to close out Summer Xeon, and that thing has all the toys, right? All of it, and it's like this the most you can do with a freaking Zaku. So I'm like, yeah, that's a good pick.
And I was trying to keep my answer towards UC, but if we were branching off into other stuff, I would want an overflag from Double O.
Oh, really?
I'm sorry, not the overflag, the Gen flag.
But why?
I think those suits are so ugly.
Dude, okay. So and I was listening. So not to what's it called? The shameless plug for another podcast. Zaku Taku. These guys are hilarious. Jose goes on these legendary rants about people he hates, and it just cracks me up. That this man hates Wu Fei. He has like the biggest hate boner for Wu Fei, and it's
Oh man.
if you watch the Endless Waltz, if you listen to their Endless Waltz podcast, he goes off this like 5 to 10 minute like rager rant. It is hilarious. But anyways, listening to the Double O and to one of the Double O episodes, and they were talking about the grunt suits. And dude, I'm not gonna lie, man. I have no love for Double O grunt suits. Them's is ugly. The Jinx is like the only one that I really kind of like can deal with. But man, dude, the enact, overflag, the flag. What's the other one? It's like a S.
They look too dainty. They look like a
Look
wind
real
would blow them over. Yeah.
They do look frail.
I mean,
I mean,
I'm not attacking you, Seth. I'm just saying, like, I've never understood because it's like a face only a mother could love. The people that like grunt suits from Double O will say it. Like, oh yeah, I love them, and I'm like, how? Like, how?
I mean, everybody likes different things, but man, how do you like that thing?
right. I was gonna say, if we were gonna look at alternate universes too, I was gonna say a grunt suit I really like is the one that the UNE used in X, the three-eyed looking thing. That one was kind of cool.
The Daughters.
Yes, that thing. I can't remember its name because I don't remember them ever saying it, but yeah, that one is cool.
I mean, it was cool enough to come back in Build Divers. The Eldora Daughters is like one of the main enemies in the show. Well, Build Divers Re-Rise.
Now, if I could throw another one in there, I'd have to say the Sumo from Turn A.
All right, see, that's another divisive series because a lot of people are like, ugh, Turn A.
Well,
And
you know
people are
what?
like,
It can be divisive, but the Sumo, I mean, just as
I
cool.
think I think Sumo's cool.
Like, I'm gonna go ahead and reel this in real quick.
Yeet.
All right, Seth, what was it that you were gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say, as far as with the gin, not the gin, but the flag, gin flag, I'd be remiss to say if part of my love for it didn't have to do with a particular pilot.
Graham Acres.
And the fact that I'm a very, very big Graham Acre fan.
Oh, dude,
I like Graham too.
you're gonna love the Zakutaku episodes, man. They call him Graham Cracker, and
Right.
and they say that he is. Dude, they kind of go in on him, and it's kind of funny because I didn't realize everything that they were saying about it until I like heard them say it and then went back and watched it. I was like, oh man, they were right.
He's not a perfect character, but I love his swagger. I love his attitude. I love his mannerisms. I do like the flag, especially when we get into Awakening the Trailblazer and he's got his Soul Braves custom gin flag. Oh, it
He
looks so
reminds
good.
me of like like for example, I love the tall geese, right? Like it could be, dude, we could be facing the most advanced. Like, dude, it could be like a fleet of unicorn moguls. So they're like, you know what? I'm gonna take him out with the tall geese because I just want to be in a souped up Leo. Not that it's ever a souped up Leo. I'm never saying that shit again.
No.
But I'm just saying, like in comparison, it might as well be. But no, like, and I get it, man. Like, everybody has the guilty pleasure. Like for example, sometimes I like to slum it and eat at Burger King. It's just kind of a thing.
Sorry.
We'll segue over to the third topic. This one is going to be more Gunpla related and model kit related. That's so just to kind of throw a little tidbit there. Like every once in a while, we try to balance it because not everybody's into the anime, not everybody likes the shows. Just in the reverse, not everybody does the model kits, which at this point I don't know why not, because they're great, but and they are not at all a financial burden. So the third topic is what is a hidden gem of a kit. It can be either a P-Bandai, Gundam based limited, or a regular release. It could even be an Ichiban Kuji. I don't want to limit it to just one. Like if you have a few, because one of each or whatever, or a few that you've like, hey, these are great. Throw it in there.
Can I go first?
I have
I
one.
want to go first.
Oh, go ahead, Gab.
Honestly, so as far as like hidden gems, Big Tony, that kit is so awesome for a high grade. It's a 172, but it's like master grade size. Super fun, super detailed. Like I recommend that to everyone. I also recommend the Dragon R1 that just came out. That thing is tough as nails, super sturdy, like very posable. Like I think anyone would enjoy that model kit.
Solid picks, man. Build
Big
both because of
for me.
Gam. Actually. As a matter of fact, Gam was the one that told me to build both of those, and they were great.
Dude, so good. So good.
He's got an eye for a good build, man.
It's like a connoisseur of plastic.
I say, except you're welcome.
Oh God.
So, any whoever wants to go next?
I tell you what, like, okay, now I know it's about to sound a little strange coming from me and the type of show that it is, but any of the high grade age kits are really good. I know like only like 5 people have watched that show, but like the high grade age stuff is so good. Like it feels like that the age kits are what they made in kind of like a developmental stage to move on to the origin. Because I see a lot of the same tech go into those 2 lines now that I've built stuff from there. But specifically from age, I would say, of course, the age 1, 2, or 3. But stuff that I've personally built and not just researched and looked at. Any of this guy's name is Wolf. Any of Wolf's mobile suits from Gundam Age, the Geno Ace Custom, the G Bouncer, and the GXs, any of those, because I personally built those. Those are great. The GXs can even do the like the Amuro Gundam thing of like double jointed, like pull the beam saber out of the backpack. Like it's got great articulation, great surface detail, very limited color correcting stickers because the suit is all white and mostly like it's white and gray with like his logo is a sticker and then like behind the eyes. But anything that he pilots, it's got good articulation, no color, like little to no color correction because he likes his stuff white, and it's just a paragon, just a good example of Bandai engineering from 2011 for some reason. So they're coming back in stock. I advise people to go get them.
And just to tack onto that, they were good enough that Bandai actually did recently release an entire water slide set for the HG age line. So that sticker with the Wolfanika stuff, throw that up, put a water slide on it, it'll look way better.
Do it.
All right. Next up.
I'll jump in and say I think the a hidden gem, of course, is the Gundam X MG. I think that it's a hidden gem in the sense of dear God, good luck trying to find it.
Yeah, good luck finding it.
Right. Another one, it just got reprinted. I'm kind of jumping on the same bandwagon as Jayhan. I have enjoyed the Master Grade H kits, the H1, the H2. The posability on it is phenomenal. And the detail is also really cool. On the H1, it's got venting in the body, on the arms and the legs, and that's something you don't see Bandai do on a lot of other kits. So that's it for me.
So I guess I'm gonna jump in, and my pick is actually not a Bandai kit; it's a Kotobukiya kit.
Oh,
And I built one of them, and I've got another one that I'm about to build, but it's actually the X4 Mega Man Force Armor. That kit, for something straight out of the box, it looks like it hopped right out of the video game. Like it is so good. It is color accurate, absolutely no stickers. It's got pre-printed faces on it, so you can swap out the faces. It's got clear parts. It looks amazing. Only downside is it's going to run you about $60, $70.
See.
I mean,
Yeah.
like you and I talked about this a couple months ago because you had just gotten the X Force armor. I got it on the huh?
I got 0 in.
So okay, so yeah, because I got the X Force armor in during the Christmas during the freaking Secret Santa.
Yeah.
And then because I had been looking at them and I'm like, man, I don't know if I can flow that, right? And then I saw 0. I got it at a Dings and Dents. Again, Mega Warehouse, right?
Yep, Mega Warehouse.
And like, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I seen it at my local. I seen the regular Mega Man, and I'm like, man, I feel like I need to buy that just so I can just have the 3 and call it quits. Because I don't really have a love for the gold armor. But no, dude, hearing you saying that like gets me excited to build it. I don't know when I'm gonna build them, but I want to. Dude, that's awesome, man. Like I think Kodo, aside from the price, has some good stuff.
Yeah, and part of that price is, I'm sure, licensing. But if they continue the line, I'd really like to see a Falcon Armor X come out. X5 is one of my favorite games. I love the design of the Falcon Armor. It's so good. But if we were to kick it back to Bandai, a lot of what I build is high grade, and it did kind of just get a re-release in a different color. The Flight Pack Astray, I think, is a very, very solid kit.
Ooh.
It doesn't cost a lot of money. You get a lot of plastic. You get an extra Baku head with beam sabers. That's always, fun little addition.
Okay.
I'll go. So I'll kind of go off of what Cody was talking about on the H kits, because I like it. It was also slightly frustrating, but it was fun. With Dark, I built that. That's a decent H kit. The only issue I have is for the size of the kit compared to some of like the other bigger ones and everything like that. I feel like it had just about as much runners.
Which kit? Which you broke up a little bit. Which kit?
Yeah, you broke up, man.
Oh, I broke up. The Dark Hound.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The because so the Dark Hound, I feel like it has like more runners than it needs to, because the amount of detail in the kit is to the point where just to build an arm, it felt like a full runner's worth of parts just to put it together. But in the end, like I still haven't even really lined it yet, and it already looks good.
Yeah,
And it looks nice. It doesn't need it that much.
because I did the set. So I built the H2 Magnum, the Master Grade from Build Fighters or Build Divers,
Build divers.
and that one fixes a design flaw from the H2 and the H2 Dark Hound. Something in the legs, they or no, something in the chest. They add a different, they molded a different piece for it, and I haven't built the H1 or the H2 Master Grade yet. I don't know why. Probably wait till August. But that H2 Magnum in both high grade and master grade thing is, but no, yeah, like the dark, and that's why I sold it, because I was like, not that I didn't want it, I was just like, you know what, I'll have built 2 H2s by the time I'm done with it. I don't need another one, even though you basically coaxed me into buying it. But hey, if I hadn't bought it, Cody wouldn't have one in his backlog right now. So hey, it's all
Exactly.
It all works out.
You're welcome, Cody.
My Spallow does need some company.
Oh, and I do another type of kit that I will always recommend to anyone: 30-minute missions.
Dude, I have 4 in my backlog because of you. All right.
All I'll say about 30-minute missions, why I like them so much, they're like Legos. You can take them apart and just build whatever you want with the pieces, and they keep improving. Every kit they come out with, every option they come out with, it's gotten better.
Yeah.
Like, because if I take one of the ones like from like the beginning, like the Rybot or the other ones, like compared to like what they have now, like just looking at those, like the beginning and what they have now, like the movement and the functions, everything they have to it is they already improved it in such a short amount of time.
Well, that's fair, man. Like,
not to mention they got Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
I was about to say, not to mention they have that killer new that night 30-minute mission kit coming out.
Oh, I'm grabbing that, bro. I'm getting
I
that.
think everybody's grabbing that one.
And like their option parts. You know, like I think the option parts alone are like a big selling point for me on 30-minute missions. Like, God.
Well, and you can even take the 30-minute mission stuff and customize that into regular Gundam HGs.
It also goes again with their the Bandai high grades.
Because like if you grab the what is it? If you grab the oh my god, the build fighters, like the battle log kits that have that adaptation to the backpacks, like you know, it's just like one of those things where you know you have that adaptability. But so like if I had to honestly drop a few like hidden gems, I mean I'm gonna preach into the choir here, but like anything with a Gem Sniper 2 frame.
Like the Pale Rider conversion kit.
Jesus, that's a resin, dude.
Oh, bro.
It's a fucking gem.
That would be the Dynamis, Curios, Virtue. Uses all that inner frame or similar inner frame, something.
It's similar to like the Dynamis Virtue and they use a 00 version of it, but I mean it's kind of like it's very similar to the Gem Sniper 2.
Right.
But like, dude, the gym colony type, the Gem Sniper 2, Dominance, Philip Hughes, Stormbringer FA, the 2.0, the Gundam 2.0, besides the Gorilla Hands, but the Gundam 2.0.
And that'd also be the Origin version of Gundam too.
I thought the Origin used a new interframe.
I was gonna say I think a lot of it's still 2.0. Maybe it's an upgrade.
I'm building a 3.0 for a contest, so I don't know. So I'll let you know at that point because
right.
Because if it's different, then yeah, it probably is. But aside from the Gem Sniper 2 interframe, honestly, like, oh man, I had a kit that I built that I was just like super freaking jazzed about it, and I'm trying to remember. It's like I had a train of thought and it just went poof, bye. Holy crap! Well, yeah, like because Gam basically hit it on the nail. The Dragonar was awesome. The Big Tony was great. Anything Origin.
I was gonna say that anything Origin, but
anything Origin.
I don't know if that's hidden. I think people may have included into that.
Okay, like the Bugu might look kind of contrived and simple, but it was great. It was awesome.
I mean, have you guys tried those wing kits yet?
The wing kits. Yeah. But no, I mean that kind of cuts it for me, honestly, because like, this, yeah, like hold on, I literally built something that I was just like super happy about. Oh yeah, dude. The Ifrit knot. The new Ifrits, all three of them, sick. And then on the rare side, the Ichiban Kuji, I think it's Prize B. That's like semi-clear. I think it's great. This is based on 2.0 solid kit, but yeah, that's what I got.
So, like I do mention, and honestly, for me, like not like branching into resin conversion is something that I recommend trying because you know you can do stuff like one of the Pale Rider that you aren't going to get from Bandai anytime soon. So 100% that to me, and then my other thing that's actually Bandai, but still maybe some people wouldn't consider them model kits, but you do have to assemble them. would be the G-frame line, specifically the P Bandai ones. Because if you've seen the Sinanju Stein and the narrative B packs, those things are beautiful. The Ifrit G-frame is my favorite physical version of the Ifrit, hands down. The panel lines on it are way cooler. The proportions are a little bit different. I like them better, and honestly, the G frame of the Ifrit is nearly the same size as the high grade. You just have to you might have to put a little bit of work into them to get the detail to pop, but they are really awesome little, I guess you could call them kits. They are multi pieces and stuff like that, and you really could kit bash them if you wanted to. But yeah, that's something that I think a lot of people kind of turn their nose up at, and due to that, they're kind of missing out on some cool stuff.
G-frame is great. I mean, they're really good to just have, especially for your home office. If you don't want to fully scare your coworkers with how much you're into the hobby, G-frame. If you have a desk job. So, in closing, obviously, this has been all over social media and the Gundam circles and everything, but we have a new Verka on the horizon. I'll give you an ass pull, and I'll give you what it's likely to be.
I think that's a good way to go, because I've got dreams and I've got pragmatism.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I know someone who's gonna be like, the Master Grade G Self, bro. Next,
it's coming. It's coming. They're doing the movies.
It'll be 84 years, man. But we'll have version 25.0 of 25.75 of the unicorn before you'll have one.
So then, if that's going to be the case, 84 years later, who's throwing the necklace into the ocean?
throwing the G Self box into the ocean. But not yet. Whoever wants to go first.
I guess I'll take it then, because I've been talking with a couple of y'all about this the last couple of days. Realistically, it's probably going to be a Verka Gramps 2.0.
Why do you hurt my soul?
I don't want to
Shut
hear
up!
that.
Don't hurt my
Not
soul.
gonna happen.
Look, listen. I'm
Shut
so
up.
sick and tired. I am so burnt out on RX 78.2s. I don't need any more of them. Nobody needs any more of them. But it's probably going to be that, because it's an anniversary kit. Usually when anniversary stuff comes out, it's usually Gramps.
But how could Katoki
Excuse me, sir. I'm gonna have to show you
Gramps
to the
need
door.
more?
I don't know. I know the original Verka is very old at this point. But what I would love to see, any of the GP series from Stardust Memory. So GPO1, Zephyranthus, the full burn-in variant, GPO2, Phasalis, the Stamen 03. What I really want to see is 03 Stamen with the weapon system, which for those of y'all that don't know, the 03 with weapon system is like the rail gun and the missile launchers off of the Dendrobium.
Isn't it the I-field generator too?
Yeah, it carries the I-field generator, the large bore cannon, and it's got 4 sets of missile launchers attached to everything. And I'd love to see that, but if I really had to pick one, I'd want to see the Zephyranthus full burning, the O2. I'd really, really love to see that in a Verka.
All you gotta do
We
is
all
get
know they kind of need it.
the third party. Was it Raz 3.0 or whatever? That thing is exactly.
It's also 1/72nd scale.
That's why it's in my backlog.
Hey man, stop building high grades. Get to that real shit.
Look, the day I can get my hands on a high grade Dendrobium, I'll just stop talking about it altogether. But until then, that's what I want to see.
So that's a big boy. That's expensive.
It's almost a $400 big boy.
Okay.
Okay, I'll say what I want what I want it to be. What I think would be cool. Said it earlier. We've talked about it before because they haven't made them. I don't think they've made a master grade of it yet, but a Verkal version would be cool. Moon Gundam. Like the high grade is already really good,
Mm-hmm.
but if they did like a master grade Verkal, the Moon Gundam, I don't
Well,
know.
and as we were
I don't know what else would compare to it.
I mean, you spend
right,
about 50 building because it has so much detail.
well, and as we were talking about it earlier, they could just use a lot of the parts from the Sinanju, the Sazabi, and the new.
Right. But if they made it in a Verkal version, the detail on it would be.
Oh my god, the detail would be phenomenal.
But realistically, I don't want it to be a Gramps, so I'm not going to say Gramps. I'm not going to. But I feel like it's going to be something more mainstream from a lot of the stuff. It's not going to be something really far out there. And if it is, then
Will it have a V fin? 95. I'm 95% sure it will.
Be a wonky looking V fin.
So I'll go in before I'll go in right here because I kind of have a few because like I'll give you this. I think realistically, I actually don't think that it'll be a Gramps because none of the Verkals are have a 2.0. They never have. I don't think they ever will. The only exception being the Unicorn, but it was an MGEX.
Yeah.
And they used the Verka as the base. They improved it. They just kind of it'd be more like I would take more like a 1.5 if you really like. But my money's on like realistically either a Zeta, a Mark II, or uh or a GPO. Like realistically, it could be a 0083. I mean, that thing is dude, that thing is old. Like that thing really needs some love, right?
Well, and 0083 was where Katoki really got his teeth into Gundam too. So that's more his baby than Wing.
And
Yeah.
like an ass pull, I mean, I doubt it, but I mean, and I mean, honestly, someone said an Epion Verkal a while ago, and I'm like, I don't think that would be the case. Could it be? I mean, honestly, like I just would I like a GPO2 Verkal? Fuck yeah. Is it gonna happen? Probably not. I mean, because typically because Verkal is typically protag and then antagonist, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they also typically do ones that you can do more of them than one. Use the frame for something else, right? So unless the GPO1 frame can be used on, I mean, they already have the Gym Sniper 2 frame. A GPO1 would be just pull that out of your freaking sleeve and just get it done. But anyways, I've rambled on. Next.
I'll go. I'm gonna go kind of with you and say likely it's more than likely it's probably gonna be a GPO series because I still stand by that's what got Katoki into Gundam. That's what sunk his teeth into. That's more his baby than Wing. Now the ass pull, I've got a couple. I would like to see one of the two Gundams from the new series, Witch of Mercury, because the Aerial Gundam as a Verkal would be stellar. I'd also like to see a Mark II as a Verkal because that thing needs updated. The 2.0, it aged, it's holding up, but Camille's Gundam needs to be a little updated, just a little.
Well, I'll go. I mean, if it was a perfect world and I could get whatever I wanted, it would be an Atlas Verka, without a doubt. I would love it. It would be great. But I don't know if it'll ever happen. Now, realistically speaking, like I could see the Mark II. Like, I want to say that one's possible. I could also, I mean, this is a long shot, but I think it'd be really cool if they did it. If they did like a RX-79 like ground Gundam Verka, I think that'd be cool because that one's a little bit older too and could use a little
Mhm.
updating.
Yeah, they are kind of
Yeah, I
old.
forgot about that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my picks, I guess. I mean, just honestly, like a Verka aquatic suit, I would love that.
Did a Verka Z Zulu.
I'd build it.
So I'm also just gonna throw it out there as an absolute like ass pull. Kotoki has done like an illustration of Nobo Gundam or Nobel Gundam.
Oh God, Sailor Moon.
Hey, do it. I'm
Dude,
here for it.
that was it? That was Zaku Realis's ass pull. That was his number one.
No,
That was also
that was
It
no,
could
no,
happen.
cheese.
I didn't. For the record, I didn't watch that video. I just know that Kotoki has done an illustration of the Noble Gundam, and I'm just like, yep, I'll buy 5 of them. Like, shut up,
It
and
would
take the money.
sell. It would sell, bro. You think people don't want master grade Sailor Scouts? They'll do it.
Paint them in every color.
I want Master Grade Sailor Scouts. My wife wants Master Grade Sailor Scouts. You want Master Grade Sailor Scouts.
It's like an episode of Oprah. You get a Nobel Gundam, and you get a Nobel Gundam.
What were you gonna say, Justin?
I was just saying that it wasn't. I don't think it was Zaku who said that, unless he also said that.
Because I remember like, oh no, that's right, it was Mecha Kagoto. He was like,
Yeah.
hey guys, and no, yeah, like because he was like, oh yeah, he designed the Nobel, and I'm like, man, like that is definitely an asshole because I'm not saying that people would be outraged the same way they were outraged by when the wing, when Zero got a Verka, but I don't know, man. I think Nobel would be kind of just like it's not even a pro tag; it's just like side character,
I mean, she's literally Domon's side chick, but not even a side chick. She's more like, oh hey, you're like a little sister.
Don't you
And
ever
Well,
we love
he
it.
didn't say that, but
don't you
yeah.
ever disrespect
Well,
Raining
yeah.
Hand? How dare you? Anyways,
I'll disrespect that whole dynamic.
negative. But yeah, like that's like I think, and it's interesting to hear Gam say it, but I mean I'm definitely kind of the belief that it'll be either a Mark II. I think GPO stand a legitimate chance.
Mhm.
I really don't think it'll be a Gramps. I think the highest probability may be a Zeta.
That would be phenomenal. I mean, we did get double Zeta.
The double Zeta Verka is reprinting. The enhanced reprinted for P Bandai. The
Faz.
The plus up pack or whatever the heck. And I mean, I'm not saying that the Lindworm is kind of like a hint, but it's like I don't know. There's a lot of. I think that the Zeta would probably be the likeliest candidate,
Mm-hmm.
followed by the Mark II and then the GPO. Those are the top three.
Yeah.
Now hear me out though. Well, as much as I want a Zeta Verka, I would almost rather like wait and hope for a MGEX Zeta with a focus on transformation, because if they're like going out of their way to exaggerate those features of a kit and they exaggerate the transformation, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That'd be nuts, man. Like a MGEX Zeta. Like, yeah, that'd be wild.
Now, if they did a Mark II Verka, I think it would almost be necessary that they release the P Bandai booster to make it the Super Gundam, kind of like what they did with the High New and the New with the heavy weapon systems.
Or why not include it with the retail release?
Because it's Bandai. Because John Bandai wants to take your money.
It would be too
money.
expensive, bro. They'd have to be Bandai that like a master grade like Verka level G Defensor. That would, yeah, they would P Bandai that, especially if like you can't even put the hyper bazooka thing in the box, or the mega bazooka launcher,
Oh, I mean, and then make the Titans a P Bandai variant.
Yeah.
Boom!
Bastion.
You just sold 3 kits.
Yep. Bandai, for watching this, do it.
They already know.
And then with the Zeta, same thing. Recolors. Just
Yeah. P Bandai up those and get
P
the
Bandai
the
C1,
armor.
P Bandai A, P Bandai Red Zeta, P Bandai Gray Zeta. I mean,
Bro, there's several other Zetas they can get into if they want
that's
to.
what because that's what I'm saying. I think because they're going to select one that that the frame will help go further. Although I don't really see what they can do with the Wing Zero frame, but
The Mark II, also, there's that one other variant, the Benager one.
God, I wish, man.
Oh my god, that would be awesome. Like, here's a variant for P
That's
Bandai.
not
Have
the
fun.
only one.
So,
So they could also do Yazan's. Yazan has a Mark II.
Oh,
I was
that's
gonna say
right.
that.
so since we're on the topic of new releases, I do have a question because I don't think any of us have actually talked about it yet. A lot of y'all build master grades. What are y'all's thoughts on the MGSD that they announced?
I don't know if it's ever going to become okay. That was a thing that was found a long time ago, really.
Yeah.
So will it happen? I mean, Bandai is pretty good about releasing things that have popped up, but will it happen anytime soon? I highly doubt it because it's not an announcement. It's a thing that someone just decided to really, really publicize that they found now.
They
But
found
as far as I mean, I look forward to seeing what comes of it because, what is it? The Sun Toys, like almost converged looking granddad figure, like that's what I would hope it would look like. But at the same time, you never know.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm literally looking at the Sun Toys right now on on Leaping Panda. But no, yeah, I mean that's kind of what. Man, I agree with that because it was just like they found it.
Yeah.
In a, it wasn't a press release or nothing. But
Well, having said that, would that be something that y'all would be interested in?
Depends what the final product looks like, but
Yeah.
I mean, from an initial viewpoint, I would say I'm probably interested because I think master grades are the best like Gunpla experience you can buy for the price point.
I mean, that's exactly it. It's just I don't mind it being a line, like obviously, but in my mind, I'm just like, man, like I don't buy SDs as it is. So I guess it would really just depend. But let's see. Anybody?
Justin, did you say? Did you say what one you were hoping for?
no, I suppose I didn't. So a lot of my what I think it most likely will be is what's been already said. You know, something from Stardust Memory. I feel like it's going to be that, maybe a Mark II. I honestly don't agree that it'll be a Zeta because of how saturated the Master Grade Zeta stuff is, and just it seems like they already got a good thing going there. So I feel like they won't try to. I feel like it would be like putting, you know, how Subway just puts restaurants every 5 feet. You know, like it wouldn't do anything for sales. But I do think that any of the Stardust Memory suits would sell very well, and they all need updates. In those, I would prefer uh, the only one of them that doesn't actually have a master grade yet, which is the GPO4.
Yeah.
But the dreaming in me, Gam already said my number one. Unsurprisingly, it's the other Thunderbolt popular Gundam, but close second, and I think it is kind of reasonable because they already have his adversary, and a very successful Verka would be the RX-9 narrative Gundam.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I forgot we were talking about that.
So yeah, that man. I would love to see that thing, and I think that they would have. I think that they would have room to have almost the same format they have now with the high grades of, some of them are P Bandai, some of them aren't. I mean, I suppose the APAC, I don't think they would release the APAC's regular release. That would definitely be a P Bandai thing, but they could probably reasonably release two variants regular market that would both sell well. And then also release, the option parts for one or the other, that just to add on if you wanted to change one up. Like I feel like there's a lot of options with the narrative that would make it a reasonable kit to build, because it would be awesome and that thing would sell.
I dare say I think you can make the narrative transformable.
Well, and you could also, the narrative is basically just the prototype new. You've got the new Verka's frame, just you can improve on it a bit.
Yeah. That's why I'm surprised no one's made a resin conversion kit yet.
Because like the legs on the narrative are Sinanju.
Ish.
Like the front
Ish.
part.
They're really smooth. Yeah.
I could totally see that. I mean, like a narrative are probably sick. But any closing thoughts?
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna lie though, this was actually a pretty long one. I'm kind of happy that it was, because it'll be nice and thick, extra thick. But yeah, so like for the next episode, we're gonna purposely make it spicy. I think I wrote these notes down just because I was like, yeah, I need to know this, and it's just for, just while I scroll here like an idiot because I wasn't there. Episode 3 is basically the next one is gonna be called "Let the Hate Flow." Your most hated mobile suit, most hated kit, and what's the dumbest argument we've ever had in the fandom? And man, we really
I'm gonna have to come out and play on that one.
So
tune in for the tea.
it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Man.
We're gonna whether or not we drop names, that'll be decided then, and that's always up to whoever, if you want to drop names or not, because why not, YOLO. But that being said, appreciate you guys joining in. Thank you for listening to us rambling on. Rate, like, share, subscribe, all that crap. And yeah, y'all take it easy. Later.